You've likely heard time and again that drinking water first thing in the morning is one of the healthiest habits you can adopt, and there's a lot of truth to that. Water kickstarts your system, rehydrates you after a night of rest, and sets a positive tone for the day. But there's a flip side that doesn't get as much airtime. If you're not careful about how you drink that water, especially as you get older, it can actually work against you. This might sound surprising. Water is so simple, so fundamental. How could it possibly cause trouble? The answer lies in how our bodies evolve over the years. What felt like a refreshing ritual in your 30s or 40s might not sit as well when you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, not at all. It's just that your body, after decades of loyal service, now asks for a little more thoughtfulness, a little more tenderness. Think about it. By the time you reach your later years, your heart has pumped tirelessly, your kidneys have filtered countless gallons, and your digestive system has processed a lifetime of meals. When you wake up each morning, your body isn't just flipping a switch to on. It's in a fragile transitional state. Hormones like cortisol are starting to rise to wake you up. Your blood pressure is finding its rhythm after hours of rest, and your stomach is still stretching its legs, so to speak. If we don't approach this delicate moment with care, even something as innocent as water can tip the scales the wrong way. It's not about fear or overcomplicating a basic habit. It's about tuning in to what your body needs now, which might be different from what it needed decades ago. In this video, we're going to dive deep into 5 common mistakes people, especially seniors, make when drinking water in the morning. These are slip-ups most folks don't even realize they're committing, often because they've been doing things the same way for years without a second thought. By the time we're done, you'll not only spot these pitfalls, but also feel empowered with simple, practical ways to adjust your routine. You'll be able to nurture your body right from those first waking moments, setting yourself up for a day that feels good, not groggy or off balance. Before we jump in, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from? Drop your city in the comments below. It's always a treat to hear from you, and imagine the different corners of the world we're connecting across. If this resonates with you, hit that like button and consider subscribing for more down-to-earth tips like these. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for what's coming up. Let's start with a big one. Drinking ice-cold water first thing in the morning, especially before you've eaten anything. Picture this. Have you ever taken a big swig of chilled water straight from the fridge right after rolling out of bed, only to feel a weird twist in your stomach? Maybe a shiver runs down your chest, or you get a fleeting wave of dizziness or a dull headache that you shrug off as just waking up. It's easy to dismiss those sensations, but they're your body's way of waving a little red flag. Here's what's happening under the hood. When you drink icy water on an empty stomach, it's like dropping a cold bomb into a system that's still warming up. After a night of sleep, your body has been in a restful healing mode. Your organs are relaxed, your digestion has slowed to a crawl, and your blood vessels are slightly constricted from lying still for hours. Then bam, you hit it with freezing water. It's not just a wake-up call, it's more like a shock to the system. Your stomach muscles clench in response, your blood vessels tighten even more, and your whole body goes into a mild state of alert, like a car screeching to a halt when the engine's barely started. For younger folks, this might not be a big deal, their systems bounce back fast. But as we age, that recovery isn't as snappy. Our metabolism slows, our circulation gets a bit more finicky, and our internal thermostat doesn't handle extremes as gracefully as it once did. Back in your 20s or 30s, that cold water might have felt like a crisp, energizing jolt, perfect for shaking off sleep. But now it can leave you feeling off, maybe even a little worse than before you drank it. The cold can slow digestion further, making your stomach feel heavy or unsettled, and it might even sap some of your morning warmth, leaving your hands or feet chilly. It's not that water itself is the villain, water's still your friend. It's the temperature that's throwing a wrench in the works. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a 76-year-old dynamo who's as sharp as they come. For years, she'd start her day with a tall glass of ice-cold water straight from the fridge. She loved how it cleared her throat and perked her up. Or so she thought. Over time, though, she started noticing little things. Her hands would feel icy, her stomach would cramp up, and her digestion seemed to drag all morning. She didn't connect the dots at first. How could water be the culprit? But when she mentioned it to her doctor during a routine checkup, he suggested a simple switch: room temperature water instead. She was skeptical. Wouldn't it feel less refreshing? But she gave it a shot. Within a few days, her mornings transformed. No more cramps, no more cold hands, and her stomach felt calm and ready for the day. It was a tiny change, but it made a world of difference. This isn't just about Eleanor, it's a lesson for all of us. Our bodies have been carrying us through decades of life, weathering storms and celebrating joys. They've earned a gentler approach, especially in the morning when they're most vulnerable. Ice-cold water might feel like a bold wake-up call, but it's more like a slap in the face to a system that's asking for kindness. So if you're someone who reaches for the coldest glass in the fridge each morning, here's a challenge. Try letting the water sit out for a bit, or pour it lukewarm instead. Give it a few days and pay attention to how your body responds. Does your stomach feel lighter? Do you feel steadier on your feet? You might be surprised at how much better your mornings start to feel with this one small tweak. And here's a practical tip to make it easy. If you like planning ahead, fill a glass or a small pitcher with water the night before and leave it on your nightstand or kitchen counter. By morning, it'll be at room temperature, perfect for sipping without any fuss. If you're used to grabbing water from the fridge, try running it under the tap for a few seconds to take the chill off. It's not about perfection, it's about giving your body a softer landing into the day. After all, you've got a lot of living to do. Why not start it off on the right foot? Next up is a habit that's tough to resist: chugging your water too fast or taking huge gulps right after waking up. You know the scene. You roll out of bed, your mouth feels like a desert, and you grab a glass or bottle, downing it in one go because it feels satisfying and efficient. Maybe you're thirsty from a dry night, or you've heard you need to hydrate fast to kickstart your day. It's tempting, no doubt. But here's the catch. Slamming water down like that, especially in those first fragile minutes of the morning, can throw your body into a tailspin, and most people don't even realize it's happening. When you first wake up, your system isn't fully revved up yet. Your heart rate is still climbing gently from its resting pace, your blood pressure is adjusting after hours of lying flat, and your stomach is basically still asleep, not ready for action. Then in comes a flood of water all at once. That sudden rush can stretch your stomach, lining faster than it's prepared for, leading to bloating or a vague sense of discomfort. For some, it sparks nausea or a lightheaded feeling, like your head swimming for a moment. Others might feel a strange flutter in their chest, a little skip that's easy to ignore but hard to explain. The problem isn't the water itself. Hydration is great. It's the speed and volume hitting your body before it's ready. Think of it like this. Your kidneys, which filter fluids and keep your electrolytes in check, get overwhelmed when you dump a big load of water on them too quickly. They kick into overdrive, trying to process it all, and that can throw your sodium and potassium levels off balance for a bit. When you're younger, your body might shrug this off without much fuss. But as we age, our systems are more sensitive. Those kidneys don't snap back as fast, and that imbalance can linger, leaving you feeling off for hours. It's not dramatic, like a medical emergency, but it's enough to sap your morning energy or make you feel unsteady when you'd rather be sharp. Take Walter, for instance. He's 72, a retired high school coach with a no-nonsense attitude toward health. For years, he'd wake up and chug a full bottle of water before his feet even hit the floor. 16 ounces, gone in seconds. He thought it was a disciplined way to start the day, a checkmark on his wellness list. But every so often, not every day, but enough to nag at him, he'd feel dizzy afterward. It wasn't crippling, just a woozy spell that made him pause and wonder. He mentioned it to his doctor during a checkup, expecting some big revelation, but the answer was simpler than he'd imagined. He was drinking too much, too fast. His body couldn't keep up with the sudden influx. The doc suggested sipping instead, spreading that same amount of water over 15 or 20 minutes. Walter tried it, half expecting it wouldn't matter, but the dizziness disappeared. His mornings felt smoother, his energy more even. No meds, no complicated fix, just a slower pace. This is a powerful reminder. Your body doesn't want a tidal wave first thing in the morning. It prefers a gentle stream. Rushing through your water might feel productive, but it's like trying to fill a bucket with a fire hose when a steady pour would do the trick. Slowing down gives your stomach time to adjust, your kidneys a chance to process, and your whole system a softer start. Imagine sitting up in bed or at your kitchen table, taking a moment to breathe, and sipping your water little by little. It's not just hydration. It's a small act of care, a way to ease into the day instead of jolting it awake. If you're a gulper by habit, here's how to shift gears. Start with a smaller glass, say 6 or 8 ounces instead of a full pint, and sip it over 10 or 15 minutes. Set it beside you while you stretch, read, or plan your day. If you're used to a big bottle, try marking it with little lines. Sip to the first mark, pause, then the next. It's not a race, it's a rhythm. Give it a try tomorrow morning and notice how your body feels. Less bloated? More grounded? Sometimes the tiniest adjustments, the ones that seem too simple to matter, turn out to be the ones that lift your whole day. Now let's talk about something that might catch you by surprise: drinking from plastic bottles that have been sitting out overnight. If you're like a lot of folks, myself included at times, you might keep a water bottle by your bedside for convenience. It's right there when you wake up, no need to stumble to the kitchen in the dark. It feels like a smart, low-effort way to stay hydrated. But here's the twist: those plastic bottles, especially if they've been sitting for hours in a warm room, can quietly introduce stuff into your water that you'd rather not have in your body. Even if it looks crystal clear and tastes fine, there's more going on than meets the eye. Plastic isn't as inert as we'd like to think. Over time, especially with heat or prolonged exposure, it can leach chemicals into the water it holds. One of the big culprits is BPA, or bisphenol A, a compound found in many older or lower quality plastics. You've probably seen BPA-free labels on newer bottles, and that's a step in the right direction. But it's not the whole story. Even BPA-free plastics can contain other similar chemicals, like BPS or phthalates, that sneak out under the right conditions. These are known as endocrine disruptors, a fancy term for substances that can mimic or interfere with your hormones. Hormones are the body's messengers, keeping everything from your thyroid to your blood sugar in check. And as we age, that balance gets trickier to maintain. Throw in a little chemical interference, and it's like static on a radio. You might not hear it loud and clear, but it muddies the signal. Now, if you're managing something like thyroid issues, blood pressure, or diabetes with medication, your body's already working hard to stay steady. Adding even tiny amounts of these chemicals from plastic doesn't make you keel over instantly. It's not that drastic, but it can build up over weeks or months. People start noticing things. They're more tired than usual, their mood feels off, or they're bloated for no clear reason. They rack their brains. Did I eat something weird? Am I stressed? When the answer might be sitting right on their nightstand. Let me introduce you to Stanley, a 78-year-old retiree who's always been diligent about hydration. He'd fill a plastic bottle from the tap each night, set it by his bed, and sip it every morning. Simple, effective, or so he thought. After a few months, though, he started having headaches more often than usual. His digestion felt strange, like it was stuck in low gear, and he was dragging through the day despite solid sleep. Nothing in his diet had shifted, his checkups were clean, but something was off. A chat with a nutritionist cracked the case. That plastic bottle, sitting near a warm bedside lamp all night, was the suspect. She suggested swapping it for a glass bottle and pouring fresh water each morning instead of reusing the same old plastic. Stanley made the switch, and within a couple of weeks, the headaches eased, his energy picked up, and he felt like his old self again. It wasn't a cure-all, but it lifted a burden he didn't even know he was carrying. Does this mean one sip from a plastic bottle is a health crisis? Not at all. A single night won't derail you. But if it's your daily ritual, fill, sit, sip, repeat, it adds up. Your liver and kidneys have to process those extra compounds, and for older adults, that's work they don't need piled on. Plus, plastic degrades over time, those little scratches and cracks from reuse. They're hotspots for leaching and bacteria, even if you wash it. It's not about paranoia, it's about lightening the load on a body that's already doing so much. Here's how to pivot. Switch to a glass jar or a stainless steel bottle. Both are safe, durable, and don't mess with your water. If you like the bedside trick, fill it fresh each night and keep it covered with a small lid or cloth to keep dust out. If glass feels risky near your bed, stainless steel is lightweight and tough. Just rinse it daily. Ditch the habit of reusing cheap plastic bottles indefinitely. They're not built for the long haul. Try it for a week. Fresh water, clean container, and see if you feel a little clearer, a little lighter. It's a small upgrade with a quiet payoff, and your body will thank you for it. All right, let's shift gears to something that ties into a lot of morning routines. Drinking water right after taking your medications, either on a totally empty stomach or right after a big meal. Imagine your typical start to the day. You wake up, maybe groggy, reach for your pill bottle, and wash those meds down with a glass of water. It sounds like the responsible thing to do. Your doctor probably said, "Take it with water," and you've been following orders. But here's where it gets murky. The details, how much water, when exactly, and whether foods in the mix aren't always spelled out. And those details, they can make or break how your body handles it. Let's break it down. If you're popping a pill on an empty stomach and chasing it with a big glass of water, say 12 or 16 ounces, all at once, that sudden flood can hit hard. Your stomach's been idle all night, still waking up, and it's not ready for a deluge. That can stir up nausea, a bloated feeling, or even a burn in your chest like mild heartburn. It might irritate your stomach lining, especially if the meds are harsh, or mess with how they're absorbed. Some need time to dissolve slowly, not get rushed through. On the flip side, if you've just eaten a hearty breakfast, eggs, toast, the works, and then swallow your pills with a tall glass, that can gum up the works too. Meds designed for an empty stomach, like thyroid pills, get bogged down by food, and the extra water just adds pressure, slowing everything down. Your digestive system is more delicate in the morning than we often realize. Hormones are shifting, insulin, cortisol, all the backstage players, and your stomach acid levels are still settling. Toss in a handful of pills and a big gulp of water, and it's like asking your body to juggle before it's had its coffee. You might feel it as a queasy wave, a foggy head, or just a vague blah that lingers. And it's tempting to blame the meds or your age when the real tweak might be simpler. Margaret's story drives this home. She's 80, been on thyroid medication for over a decade, and had her routine locked in. Pill first thing, a full glass of water, then breakfast an hour later. It worked like clockwork, until it didn't. Out of nowhere, she started feeling queasy every morning. No new meds, no diet shake-ups, blood work all clear. She was stumped. Her doctor dug into her habits and zeroed in on the water. She was drinking too much, too fast, too soon after the pill. Her stomach couldn't cope. He suggested a tweak, just a small sip, enough to swallow the pill, then wait 45 minutes before eating or drinking more. Margaret tried it, and the nausea melted away. Her follow-up tests even showed her thyroid levels improving. Better absorption, calmer mornings, all from a gentler approach. This isn't about rewriting your med routine. It's about syncing it with your body's rhythm. If mornings leave you unsettled, don't just grit your teeth and push through. It might not be the pills or father time. It could be how you're pairing them with water. Here's a game plan. Check your med labels. Some say empty stomach, others with food, and adjust accordingly. For empty stomach pills, try a few sips, just 2 or 3 ounces, to get them down, then hold off on more water or food for 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the drug. If it's with food, sip lightly after a small bite, not a feast. Space it out, keep it gentle. Test it for a few days. Does the fog lift? Does your stomach settle? It's not about big changes, it's about smoothing the edges so your day starts strong. Finally, let's tackle a trend that's gotten a lot of buzz. Skipping breakfast entirely and leaning on water alone to start your day. You've probably seen the headlines or heard the chatter. Just drink water, skip the meal, let your body fast. It's pitched as a sleek modern health hack, and for some, maybe younger folks or those on strict intermittent fasting plans, it might work wonders. But for older adults, launching your day with nothing but water and no fuel can quietly drain you, leaving you running on fumes when you need strength most. Here's the deal. When you wake up, your body's already been fasting all night. 8, 10, maybe 12 hours without a bite. Your blood sugar's dipped, your energy reserves are low, and your brain and muscles are hungry for something to work with. Water's fantastic for rehydrating your cells, no question. But it's not a calorie, it's not protein, it's not the glucose your brain craves to think straight, or the nutrients your muscles need to keep steady. At first, you might feel okay, maybe even light and virtuous. But as the morning rolls on, that empty tank starts to show. Tiredness creeps in, maybe a shakiness in your hands, a mood that's snappier than usual, or a mental fog that makes you forget where you parked your keys. People chalk it up to stress, poor sleep, or just getting older, but often it's simpler. Your body's begging for fuel. Add coffee to the mix, an empty stomach, water, and a jolt of caffeine, and you're pushing the imbalance further. That cup might wake you up, but without food to ground it, it can spike your cortisol, jitter your nerves, and leave you crashing later. Over weeks or months, this habit can wear you down, making mornings tougher than they need to be, all because you're asking your body to run a marathon with no breakfast in the tank. Alice's experience nails this. She's 69, fiercely independent, and decided to simplify her mornings after reading about fasting. She ditched breakfast, stuck to water until noon, and at first it seemed to pay off. She dropped a few pounds and felt in control. But then the crack showed. Her mood tanked, she'd snap at little things, and her memory got patchy. She'd repeat herself without noticing. Her daughter picked up on it and nudged her to see a doctor. No major red flags, just a clear diagnosis. Alice wasn't eating enough to start her day. Her brain was starving, her energy flatlining. She added a small breakfast. Nothing fancy, just a boiled egg, a slice of toast, some berries, and the shift was night and day. Her sharpness returned, her mood lifted, and she felt steady again. It wasn't a diet overhaul, it was a lifeline. The takeaway? Less isn't always better, especially not when it comes to morning fuel. Water's a cornerstone, keep it, but pair it with something real. A bit of protein, some fiber, a touch of healthy fat. It's not about a feast, just a foundation. Try a handful of almonds, a bowl of oatmeal with a drizzle of honey, or a smoothie with fruit and yogurt. If you've been skipping meals, thinking it's a shortcut to health, give your body a boost tomorrow. Eat something small alongside your water. Notice how your energy holds, how your mind stays clear. You're not just surviving the morning, you're setting yourself up to thrive. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it? Water, this basic, lifelong companion, feels so different as we age. Not because it's changed, but because we have. Our bodies are wiser now, more sensitive, and they whisper, sometimes shout, for us to listen a little closer. That's what this deep dive has been about. Not rules or restrictions, but awareness. It's about catching those subtle ways our routines might be tripping us up and tweaking them so our days feel better. Less foggy, less achy, more us. When your mornings feel off, lethargic, bloated, anxious, it's not always a sign something's wrong with you. Sometimes it's just a signal your habits need a nudge. Maybe you'll ditch the ice tomorrow and sip something warmer. Maybe you'll slow down, savoring each sip instead of racing through. Maybe you'll swap that old plastic bottle for glass or steel, or pair your water with a bite of something nourishing. If any of this clicks for you, that's a win. It means you're still growing, still tuning in to what your body's asking for. And that's a beautiful, powerful thing. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope you'll try one of these shifts tomorrow and see how it lands. Trust your body. It'll tell you what works. If this helped, share it with a friend, a sibling, a neighbor, someone who might be wrestling with the same quiet struggles. And if you'd like more real, gentle talks like this, hit subscribe or follow along. Your comfort matters, your clarity matters, and you matter. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.